just to make sure everything's set up correctly. Should we are properly broadcasting. I think it should be good. Yep. Nice. All right then. I mean, my goodness. So, yep, here I am. When Jurassic World Dominion came out, I said I was gonna watch all the Jurassic Park movies, and this was the one I missed because I just didn't have enough time before I had to go to the theater. And I thought that since today's my birthday, I thought I might as well do something special, and do a little watch along. I can't speak right now. Everyone's at work and school, so I know that, so there's not gonna be much in terms of chat activity, but I had to do this now because, I'm gonna go out and do stuff for my birthday. I can't exactly do this later, so I'm just gonna do this now. And just so we can, the obvious fact, this is not gonna show the movie. It should be obvious. It's just gonna have a timer on the screen to sync up with the movie. Oh, I already got one down there. I don't know, man. Making a dinosaur series, that's pretty vague. I mean, there's a lot of different things you could do there. You like the documentary style, even like what software you're using. I mean, there's so many options. I wouldn't even know. I would have no idea where to even start giving tips because there's a lot of different things you could be doing. Yeah, so you'd have to be a little more specific. But anyways, just quickly cutting back into this. So yes, they will not show the movie. There will be a timer to sync up with the movie itself. I'll start it when the movie starts and just chill and watch Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Because I think this movie's underrated, and so I don't think this is such a bad thing. Most people see this as a punishment. I think this is pretty fun. So, to each their own. But yeah, so let's get this set up. I'm gonna get this ready, and I'm gonna go watch Fallen Kingdom because I haven't seen it in too long. Mid-movie. It's not amazing, I will admit, but I will still hold true to the fact that one, it's underrated. People hate it way too much, and two, I still think it's the best out of the Jurassic World movies. And I'm going to explain a lot here, because there was a lot of complaints about this movie that I want to clear up because they are just dumb. Like, they're just straight dumb. Some of them are valid, a lot of them as well. Like, some of them are valid, and some of them are just people being stupid. So, yeah. It's a mid-movie. I'm not even going to pretend otherwise, but it is overly hated, and it's got a lot of criticisms that don't really add up, that don't really make a lot of sense. So let's just get this started, and, we can discuss it, because Fallen Kingdom has a lot of mixed opinions. Although, I think hopefully we can all agree at least it's better than Dominion. Please. Tell me, let's got my hotkeys right. Yep, okay, we're good to go. Alright, I'm going to start this up. 3 and 2, 1. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I didn't hate this movie as much as everyone else did. I never understood like the hate for it. Like, I get certain aspects. Like I said, I get some of the criticisms, and we'll get to them when we get there in the movie. But at the end of the day, it just feels like people were just hating on it for the sake of being angry. They didn't enjoy the movie, so they were making reasons to hate it when they should have just been, fairly criticizing it. I don't think that's too crazy of a request, because a lot of the criticisms were it's confirmation bias, where you see what you want to see rather than what's actually there. That's a very, 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 very basic and probably incorrect description from how much I stripped it down, but still. Because I remember Nostalgia Critic reviewed this movie, and his review of this movie was so awful, I haven't watched a review of his since. It was just so bad. It was all just him wanting to get angry at the film, so he was making his own reasons rather than actually criticizing the problems of the film. You say, oh, it uses too many species and doesn't use them, but it still uses them better than Dominion. The Carnotaurus has more scenes in this movie than Dominion gives to its new creatures. And that's already, like, again, this is where you could, like, I could get the complaint, but there are worse examples of it. Quetzalcoatlus is in, 30 seconds of Dominion? And the Carnotaurus, my second favorite dinosaur of all time, doesn't get a lot of screen time in this movie, but it shows up in 3 scenes. It's already got points, The dinosaurs at least come back. They do make, even if it's brief cameo appearances, they do come back and show up later in this film. So, I don't know. I'm not saying it's a good thing. Like that's the whole thing. There's a give and take, and I think that there are fair criticisms. It's just that they've been leveling too hard against this film. It's not perfect, but I do think it does enough right that it didn't deserve as much as people hate it. I get your criticism. I just think that Dominion does it worse. That's what I'm trying to say here. So I can't hate this movie for that when there's a significantly worse example of it out there. I could say, yeah, I get it, but this other movie does it worse. Would I have wanted to see more Carnotaurus? Absolutely, especially a camouflaging scene. And also, this opening just rocks. Like, let's just say that this opening with the in the lagoon is just straight, totally cool. It's just awesome. Yeah. I don't think anybody can argue this intro isn't cool unless you're like, nostalgia critic. The one part I can say about this scene that doesn't make sense is how the Indominus Rex skeleton is so, like, put together. You think the Mosasaurus would have, like, eaten it and the bones would have been scattered around, but no. It's somehow all put together. And there you go. See, there's a little minor criticism that actually does make sense. They could have had, like, just the skull and a few ribs, and it would have made the scene that much different. It would have made a little more sense. Because I thought the Mosasaurus just killed it and then dropped it down there and left it down there. You know? Ooh. Oh yeah, and one thing I'm going to say this movie does better than, like, any other Jurassic Park film, like that shot. The cinematography in this movie, oh, it's so beautiful. It's so good. There's so many amazing shots of this movie that just no other film in the franchise has. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the things that I really like about this movie. We can start off with the easy one, cinematography and special effects. Fallen Kingdom has the best special effects out of any of the Jurassic Park movies. I'm just going to say it. Like, nobody has anything even close. CGI looks great. The animatronics are fantastic. I kind of just want to quiet down because I love this opening. It's so cool. Yep. The T-Rex approaches. I remember some people complain, like, oh, why didn't they use the headset or something to talk to the dude? It's like, I mean, if I see a T-Rex approaching, I'm going to be honest with you, my brain's going to stop working. I'm just going to start panicking. And I guarantee that those guys were in the exact same position. They didn't think to use the headset. I wouldn't think to do anything other than run for my life. It's a goddamn T-Rex. Honestly, I'm surprised the guys in the helicopter stuck around for this long before the T-Rex arrived. I would have been gone long before that. So, man. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention the retcon where they moved the entire lagoon from the center of the island to the edge of the island just because they need to get the Mosasaur into the ocean. That was really dumb. There was no reason they needed to do that. Oh, that scene still is totally rad. Yeah, absolutely love to see the T-Rex playing tug of war with the helicopters. Oh, it's just so cool. Seriously though, I really wish the rest of the movies went with this kind of tone. It's just absolutely terrifying, like just suspense and horror, but nope. Dominion threw that all out the window. You don't need that. That's for suckers. And there we go. Chomp. I know, right? There was no reason to even have it escape in the first place. And even then, there are way better ways to have had it escape than retcon the entire position of the lagoon. That's such a stupid way to do it. I'm sure they'd be equally dumb, but at least they wouldn't be retconned in. It really does feel pointless. It really does. They could have used it for so many cool scenes. Remember there was a scene cut from this movie where a mosasaur attacks a whaling vessel that we just never saw again. There was like a brief clip that kind of sort of resembles it in Dominion, but nope. Sorry, that would have been too cool and cost us an actual budget. And actually shown the dinosaurs rather than locusts. I'm probably just gonna complain about Dominion this whole movie. Here it is, the volcano. And I'm just gonna say this, just so that we can make this perfectly clear. Anyone who complained about the volcano not making any sense does not know a single thing about geology. They're like, oh, why would they build a super expensive theme park on an island with a volcano? Well, welcome to the entire state of Hawaii, where every single building is built on volcanic islands. Already your point's invalidated. And then there's expensive 5-star resorts on those islands. Once again, making it pretty clear that people are already in real life willing to build expensive resorts on volcanic islands. And even then, the volcano was dormant. As are most of the Hawaiian islands. They're labeled as dormant volcanoes. But the problem is that a volcano can go from dormant to active in a matter of weeks, if not days. We have, things to detect it and warn us of it coming. But they require people to actually be there to, use the monitoring equipment and make sure it's not being destroyed by dinosaurs. At the end of the day, this point that people keep bringing up just never made any sense. The volcano thing is perfectly believable to anybody who understands how volcanoes work, or how people in real life settle all around volcanoes. I don't know, people complain about that so much, and it really irritated me because I did a lot of studying of geology and volcanoes when I was younger, so it was just ignorance really that brought them to say those things, and it just irritated me every single time. And there's Ian Malcolm, bringing in his cameo in this movie that everyone got upset about because he's only in it for 5 minutes. And I can kind of get it, because in Dominion he was the only of the legacy cast. Ian Malcolm was the only legacy cast character that actually played himself really well. He actually felt like Ian Malcolm. Yep. So yeah, that was my little rant on volcanoes. I really just, it bugged me. I got so heated. People just kept saying, oh, it makes no sense, it makes no sense, while they themselves had no idea what they were talking about. That's not even mentioning all the bonuses you get from settling on an island like that. Geothermal power for the electric fences, the rich volcanic soil to grow crops to feed the herbivores, and to grow cattle to feed the carnivores. The beautiful scenery. Guys are going to want to see beautiful scenery, plus the tropical environment does suit a lot of dinosaurs. There's just a lot of reasons why using a volcanic island for your dinosaur park is an excellent idea. And there's Zia. Kind of just exists. One of those characters is just kind of there. Much like most of the cast of the Jurassic movies. Not really much of a personality to speak of, just kind of there. Honestly, the one aspect I did like about this movie is how they handled the government side of things. They're just going, yeah, we're not going to do anything, like they're going to say here in a bit. That is very much, probably one of the most realistic aspects of this movie. The government saying, we're not going to do anything. We're going to let that situation handle itself. Because if we try to do anything, it would cost us money. There it is, right here, of this little scene. Yep, they're not going to do anything because it would cost them money. Very realistic. Very nice. I think I might also recommend, there's a lot of changes I would make to this movie because I understand the problems with it, but at the end of the day, there are some things that I like I said, that little bit. It's a little thing, but honestly, it's very, very realistic in what would actually happen. Also, it's kind of weird. How does Claire know Benjamin Lockwood? I have to wonder about that. Like, he wasn't mentioned at all to this. He was kind of retconned in the first place. So how does she know about him? Because he was not mentioned like anywhere before this. Never really thought about that. If you're questioning why there's no movie on the screen, it's because that would be firstly illegal. You know, that'd be the biggest. I see the question mark in chat. Yeah, you just have to put on your own version of the movie. I know, real difficult. There's not much I can say about that. You just have to put on your own version of the movie. If you don't have a CD copy, there are ways of getting your hands on it quite easily. I would recommend some of them, but I don't know if YouTube would like me recommending some of my methods. I'm watching it legally, but, you know, there are other ways. I'm watching this on, you know, my actual digital copy that I have from buying the CD. Blu-ray. Came with a digital code. And here he is, Eli. Totally wasted villain opportunity. There's a lot of interesting things you could have done with this guy, but they just didn't really do any of them. Oh, that's how they know. So, I guess Claire knew Eli. I forgot about that. Haha, funny, but crack a joke. There's the Concavinator. We never get to see that in the movies. Shame. Absolute shame. Yeah, I wonder if they'll ever put it in, but they always seem so focused on adding dinosaurs that are big and bad. They gotta be better than the T-Rex and then add it into the movie. Because new ideas scare them. I have to wonder why they even made this island up in the first place. I can sort of get it. Why couldn't they just say they had an island? Like, they created this whole island and never did anything with it. There we go. And here comes the part that was changed for no reason. See, a touch of redemption. As he talks about, because he abandoned Hammond. But nope, he didn't. See, because Dominion said otherwise. Hmm. Yep. It's funny, everything he's talking about now and alluding to gets completely retconned out of the story by Dominion, and it's just kind of like... It just makes me wonder what they're going to do. Like, are they just going to pretend that this plot hole doesn't exist for future? He's talking about, oh, a touch of redemption, how he abandoned Hammond. Only Dominion says otherwise. He never did, because the reason for doing so, right here, he's saying, oh, you know... It just gets erased by Dominion. So everything that's happening right now is... It doesn't exist. It just doesn't. If you go by Dominion's lore. The scene doesn't exist, apparently. There you go. His daughter died in a car accident. This, all of this. Everything in this scene was retconned out of existence. There we go. Now we're out of the scene that doesn't exist. You see, that's the weird part. How many can you save? 11 species? That's kind of weird. It's like, why wouldn't they say like a number instead of in a species count? That's kind of showing the objective early. You think, oh, how many can you save? Well, we could save, X number because we have this much room on the ship, not this number of species. That's an odd way of saying it. And then there's the blue. Oh, blue is the hardest to capture. There's a goddamn Tyrannosaurus Rex on this island. I don't know if I mean, blue's definitely difficult, but if the movie doesn't, I remember the movie just kind of skips over how they capture the T-Rex because they don't want to answer that question. How do you capture a Tyrannosaurus in a safe environment on a volcanic erupting island? The movie will never answer. I'd be curious to go back to Dominion and see how this cabin lines up with the cabin that's actually in Dominion. Because there's yeah, the trees certainly aren't as close to the cabin as they are in Dominion, at least if I'm remembering it correctly. I wonder if any of the geography actually lines up. I hate the relationship drama. I really don't care. The movie about dinosaurs. I mean, it's not as bad as Dominion, but I just don't like the relationship drama. I really don't. And there's the line, oh, ventriloquist, you love a dummy, but they cut out the second part, so it doesn't really make a lot of sense. Yes. As much as I like the dinosaurs, you really shouldn't go to an island and mess with them. It's just not a good idea. I mean, if you ignore Dominion, they're a genuine threat. If you watch Dominion, they're soft puppies that will roll over if you scrub their belly and put a hand in front of their face. The world will be fine, according to the ending of Dominion. Just ignore the other 5 movies. As I said, I'm just gonna complain. No matter how much people hate this movie, I'm gonna complain about Dominion more because Dominion was just far worse. Even for as bad as this scene is, at least it's only like one romance scene. At least it wasn't like constant every 2 minutes. Because Dominion's distraction from the plot was locusts, and if you just count the scenes where the locusts are in the scenes, they total 12 minutes. Locusts take up 12 on-screen minutes of time in that movie. That's not even counting the scenes where they're just talking about them. At least this isn't 12 minutes of romance scenes to distract us. Oh, and just so you know, that 12 minutes of locust scenes is more than the T-Rex and Giganotosaurus get in Dominion, and it also accounts for 9% of the entire runtime of Dominion devoted just to locusts. Fun facts. So practically 1/10 of Dominion is all about locusts. Probably would be if I counted all the scenes where they're just talking. I'm just talking about these scenes. They're not really all that important. Whatever. Oh, look, he's gonna go and help them now because he looked at old videos of him training Blue. I actually really like that line. You're like to die on a horse and on a plane. No, I won't, because my chances of getting on a horse are 0. I don't know. I thought that was funny. We're not compatible. Yeah. I still find that funny. I don't care what anyone says. I like Franklin because he's a regular human being in the middle of the setting, doing exactly what a regular person would do and saying exactly what they would say, pretty much. People like get mad at him for screaming so much, but that's just because they're watching the movie. If they were facing down a dinosaur as he was, they'd be screaming too. Oh look, Raptor versus Dilophosaurus. Everyone thought that like setup meant that we were going to see a fight like that at some point, and it just never happened. Didn't happen in this movie. Didn't happen in Dominion. At least we got to see the Dilophosaurus, but they were more of a joke. Like just choke him out. Oh look, all these photos of things that apparently, got retconned out. I'm just wondering, like, how much? Like, how much of the extent? Which exactly of these parts was retconned? Look at that. There's another retcon saying that she only ever visited once. Nope, apparently she was there the whole time, acting as a child researcher, according to Dominion. I'm just gonna keep track of everything that they retconned out, just because I have to remember. Because Dominion did some weird things. Dominion made some weird choices. Yeah. Hawaiian scenery still looking beautiful. I still want to visit Hawaii one day. Who knows? That'll ever happen. Love to see the places where they'd film these movies. Then it'll pan down to show that she's wearing boots because everyone complained about her wearing heels in Jurassic World. Yep. God, what I wouldn't have give to see. I mean, what I would have give to have seen all these mercenaries do battle with some actual dinosaurs in this movie. Might have had some scenes like that, but if I had to guess, Universal would have said no. These guys with all these guns. They don't do anything, just kind of stand around the whole movie. I love this little conversation. A little conversation about the T-Rex's age. I really like that. It is a good question to ask. Could a T-Rex actually live longer if it did have healthcare? It's properly taken care of. Question to ponder. Because the average lifespan of a T-Rex is about, what, like 40 years? I think that's a number. Like a natural Tyrannosaurus is 40 years. I wonder how, a captive, one in captivity would live for. There's the old T-Rex kingdom, which looks absolutely tiny. That T-Rex is kept in a very small cage. And then you gotta get your, contractually obligated teeth. Dinosaurs are beautiful scene before all the horror sets in. It's not like it's bad, it just kind of feels like that, like it feels like it's an obligation. Yep. Yeah, CGI does look really good. You can see every fold in that thing's skin. Yep, the visual effects really just are fantastic. There's no doubting that in this movie. Unless you want to be disingenuous, I guess. And there's that little corpse of, who was it? Teratophonius? Like right next to the power station, that creature that we never get to see in the films. That's the only retcon that's the only retcon I accept is the retconning in of new species, just because it's cooler to have more dinos. Just go ahead, add as many dinos as you want. I want to see more. Give me more species. The convinced she just ran out of the truck. I think that they showed in the movie she clearly saw it, but we didn't because the way the camera was. Like, we as the audience only saw. We can only hear like trees moving, but she clearly saw it before it enters the thing. So it wasn't her running out into the wild with no idea what it was. She saw the Brachiosaurus's head, and so she ran out to go see it. And if she knows enough about dinosaurs, she'd know that a sauropod is absolutely horrifying, and most carnivores will stay far away. Because unlike what most things want to show you, a sauropod is deadly and very, very much a problem for a carnivore. They are not likely to get close to one. So if you can see a brachiosaur, you're probably safe. You look at, oh, well, you captured them before you had the tracking system? Of course they did. Why is that even? That's not suspicious. There'd be dinosaurs around all over the place. They could capture as many as they could find around the docks. I don't know why they act like that's such a weird thing. Oh, they captured dinosaurs on the mission to capture dinosaurs? That's weird. That's one of those dumb scenes. She didn't run out not knowing what it was. I think she clearly knew it was a Brachiosaurus. She could see it, but we couldn't. So, you know. Remember, you're the one who made me come here. Haha, funny. That's one of those jokes I actually do like in this movie. They're the compies. Hello, little guys. Based on the location of where the zoom in showed where Blue was, and where the T-Rex cage actually was in the original Jurassic Park, I don't think it makes any sense for him to find the Ford Explorer here. That's a minor thing, but retconning the locations ain't exactly uncommon for this movie, is it? It's supposed to be like the one that fell from the tree, but by the location where that scene took place in the original Jurassic Park and where they are currently supposed to be walking around, based on the map they showed us, this car should not be here. Yeah, I know, right? Where's the wall? It just, this car, I guess, has moved a significant distance in these past couple decades from when the movie takes place to when Jurassic Park, took place. T-Rex is just dragged it halfway across the island for no reason. But they wanted a cool visual, so screw it. Here it is. I mean, just look at that. Look at those visual effects. Blue looks better in this scene than any dinosaur in Dominion. You don't get it, we're bad guys. We have to screw ourselves over and get one of our men killed. Or else we're not bad guys. It would have made more sense for him to finish the job rather than be villains. And now this guy gets chomped. And he's dead. I'm gonna be honest, I don't think that pistol would have done much to a raptor like it tries to say it would. I mean, there are animals smaller than raptors that can take significant punishment in real life. A raptor that size, with a pistol, like, what was it, probably 9mm? Like, that's not gonna do anything to a raptor. But of course, we're dealing with movie guns, where they only work if the film wants them to. It's just that, like, just unnecessary villainy. Why did he need to do that? If they had followed the plan, if he had let Owen go through with his plan, they could have gotten Blue all the way back to their dock and then tranked him and threw him on the ground, and not had somebody get chomped by a raptor and the raptor get shot. You know, it's like pointless villainy that doesn't make any sense. This part does, locking them in the room. This part I get, yes, but that bit with the raptor just confuses me. Why are you being a villain when it ruins your plans? And see, there you go. That is Franklin. Oh, why am I here? It's just, I like him mostly because he's like I said, he is what everyone else would be in this situation. Hmm. Yeah. Here comes the the Pachyrhinosaurus that was a Pachyrhinosaurus until everybody kept talking about and complaining how it looked nothing like one. It looked like an entirely different ceratopsid. So they just changed it to a Sinoceratops. I mean, I don't mind it. Getting a more obscure ceratopsid is still really cool, but It's just kind of funny that that even happened. And there's this scene, people point out that he would probably have caught on fire, like, way sooner if the lava was this close. And, yeah, they are absolutely right. There's no way. I forgot it's movie lava. It's only at about room temp. His hand touches the lava. I mean, with brief, extremely brief contact, then maybe you could be fine. But it have to be super brief, like for like for like a fraction of a second that his hand touched it, it would like just barely maybe have been fine. Oh boy, here we go. Here's a dinosaur that's underutilized and has a kind of non, you know, the design is kind of questionable. The baryonyx here. Like I said, oh, maybe it's not the T-Rex. You see how small that tunnel is? There's no way a Rex could fit in there. Yeah, the baryonyx design was really disappointing. They should have given it the actual heavy claw it was named after. There he is. Yeah, it's really cool. And even then, like, I scream. And are people complaining about that? I'm not gonna lie. If I was staring down at baryonyx like that, I would scream too. That's terrifying. Then there comes the awkward part where it keeps, like, slamming its head through the lava. And yeah, that is pretty dumb. But that baryonyx shot, very cool. Franklin's scream, very realistic. No matter what anyone else says. They could try to act the big man, but if they were staring down at baryonyx, they would be screaming like a little girl too. Because that is a giant, like, 2-ton dinosaur. I think he's gonna rip you to pieces. Technically, it's only a medium-sized theropod, but that's medium for dinosaurs, you know? Still like 8 feet tall, 1.5 to 2 tons. Oh, medium-class theropod. Uh... Woo! And Baryonyx, goodbye. And it most certainly died in that tunnel. And I'm not gonna lie, this scene is amazing. There's so many visual effects, so much CGI, and all of it looks so real. They did such an amazing job with this scene right here. This whole scene, this whole Stampede scene is just fantastic. Cinematography, special effects, everything's on point. I love little compies too. God, these just the shots look so cool. The CGI is so good. Oh, I love this scene so much. This is what Dominion needed. Just absolute scenes of dino carnage with nothing else. No human drama. Just people are running away, but we get tons of dinosaurs just everywhere. You don't really get a scene like this in Dominion. Where there's just tons of species, tons of dinosaurs, carnivores, herbivores, just all sorts of chaos going on. Just doesn't exist. Although I will admit that the whole tree getting destroyed slowly over time is a little dumb, but you know what? I'll let it slide. The rest of the scene is really cool, especially because we get a cool scene with the Carno. It's coming up here real soon. I absolutely love this. It's just dedicated Carnotaurus scene. It's really cool. It could have been cooler, but it's still really cool. Yep. Hey, thanks, yeah. Thanks for the happy birthday. I'd say your name, I don't know, A Baza. Yeah, thanks for the birthday wishes. Wish you the best too. I do like this scene for another reason too. Not only do you get a cool Carnotaurus scene, we get a scene of an herbivore fighting a carnivore where the herbivore actually wins. You know? Oh, that's good to know. I got your name right. I've always been very bad at pronouncing names. Chomp. God, that there's a reason why they use that shot in like every promotional material, because that shot looks so cool, and the scene is so cool as well. Get mad about the T-Rex constantly saving humans, but that shot was totally awesome. Here we go again with these amazing visual effects. This is really 10 out of 10 movie for the visual effects. Like, just absolute top notch. This whole movie, it's just really hard to tell what's CGI and what isn't, because they do such a good job of integrating it. It really is amazing. I know. Carnotaurus was the cheetah of the Cretaceous, and they didn't even use it in the movie, but, you know... I said before, there are a lot of missed opportunities in this movie. I'm not going to pretend otherwise, but this is still really cool. They did Allosaurus. Yeah, Allosaurus shows up for that one scene. Let's be honest. Allosaurus didn't really get... it really did get screwed, yeah. Man, Carnotaurus was a cheetah of the Cretaceous. I'm well aware. Carnotaurus is really cool. Combining its super speed with its camouflaging abilities would have made for some really cool scenes. We just didn't get it, which is a shame. There we go. I want to go home. Oh, I love it. It's so funny. Oh yeah, I don't think anybody can argue that Dominion is easily worse than Fallen Kingdom by a long shot. But there are people who think otherwise. I don't know how, but you know what? They're entitled to their own opinion, even if they're wrong. Whew. I mean, just look at all these visual effects. There is one thing I don't like about the scene, and that's we see a bunch of dinosaurs like falling into the water and swimming away from the island. There would be, if they were going in the right direction, there would be some of them that would have made it to the mainland, and again, Dominion just kind of ignores that thing, just kind of ignores it. Like, this movie didn't have to acknowledge it because it takes place over a single day, but Dominion should have said something. Some of those dinosaurs would have made it to the mainland for sure. Yeah, I've said it. I might have said it before. I'm not sure, but I'll say it again. I think personally, Fallen Kingdom is my favorite of the Jurassic World movies. I just like the visual effects and the cinematography. Like, all of the problems I could find with the story of Jurassic World are still here, but the better visual effects and cinematography, well, they're just more enjoyable, and they also had more dinosaurs and less hybrids that are super powerful plot armor Saurus Rex over here. Listen, yes, they would get tired, but they would still be drifting. Animals don't just sink. They can swim, they have buoyancy. They will float. They wouldn't be healthy, but at least some of them might have drifted to the mainland. Would have been still alive. Would be for interesting story, honestly. Like, say one of those Allosaurus drifts from the main. Oh, drifts from the water all the way to like the Costa Rica or something, and there it is, the T-Rex on the chopper. It's still awake. How did they get that in there? They're not going to answer that question because they can't. You see, but that would have been cool. Imagine a story like that, where we get to see what happened to the dinosaurs that swam off the island, targeted by poachers, targeted by Coast Guards, somebody, some of them make it to the mainland. That would have made for an interesting side story. I think they could definitely use that in the future. I know they won't, but it would be a cool story to examine, you know? I like how they're letting the Ankylosaurus out with no, like, they're just letting it out of the cage to walk around. They could not control that thing if they wanted to. There's no chance. They would have had to have it connect to another cage or something. It's walking out of the cage into nothing but like 4 dudes standing there with, what, tasers? That Ankylosaurus would absolutely 4v1 those suckers. It's not even asleep, it was walking around. There's a lot of little bits in this scene that are pretty dumb, yeah. Like, also that fully awake Baryonyx they were just carrying around with a crane. Where were they gonna put that thing? But even then, I think at least one of them could have made it through. I think it would have made for an interesting story. Like I said, like a single Allosaurus, or probably a Baryonyx, actually. Imagine one of the Baryonyx. Because he's, you know, he's a water creature. He'll be fine. He'll be eating fish, swimming along the way, makes it to Costa Rica, and we get a cool little, small, little story about Baryonyx in Costa Rica with the natives or something. I think it would make for a really interesting little story to tell. Even have that, you know, have that bit about the poachers capturing all but one of the escaped dinosaurs. Boom! He goes right to the ground. Honestly, it's surprising that Franklin's still alive after that. Am I dead? Not yet, kid. That's another good line. I like that. I think I got our Fast and Furious moment. Woohoo! We're gonna ramp off of that nothing. Woo! I like that. The front of the car just bounces up off of nothing. This big ass truck. Yeah, that's kind of funny. Yeah. So I'm saying, like, I just think a Baryonyx would be a great choice for that. Just imagine that. A story where one of the dinosaurs that fell off that cliff was a Baryonyx, swims to Costa Rica, and we follow a story of Costa Rican natives that are now having to deal with a loose Baryonyx, you know, in in their country or whatever. That'd be really cool. Here comes that scene that everyone says was very like, oh, it's so manipulative, but honestly, it makes sense. Yeah, this scene's really nice. I know people get mad at it because it's like, oh, it's so emotionally manipulative, but I think it serves well. Like people have said, it's a symbol of the island dying. The Brachiosaurus, the first dinosaur we see in Jurassic Park, and as Colin said, it's the same one that we saw in the first. It's the same one from the opening of Jurassic Park. So seeing it die with the island, you know, the first dinosaur we see, the first creature that represents the island itself, dying with it. It's nice. It's a good bit of symbolism. It's sad. It's a good scene. It's a really good scene. Yeah, the Baryonyx starts getting into parthenogenesis too because of the mixed genetics. So they have to deal with a brood of Baryonyx starting to be born. Because there was no competition for a Baryonyx in the modern world. It would be out of control. Was there a Brachiosaurus in Dominion? I don't even remember. There were so few dinosaur scenes, and some of them were in the backgrounds. I mean, Iguanodon was supposed to be in that movie somewhere, but where was it? It probably was in the background of some shots or something, because there wasn't any prominent scenes, I know that much. I like this guy right here. I forget his name, but he plays smug rich guy very well. I recognize him from a lot of things, but I don't recognize his name. I don't think a Cayman stands a chance against the Baryonyx. I'll be honest, Chief. How much does how? Mm. I'm gonna look that up real quick. Just okay, maybe they might. Nah, I think they're just a little too small for Cayman to stand a chance against the Baryonyx. That's a pretty big maybe. I think in a one-on-one fight, the Baryonyx has the advantage. It's longer, it's taller, heavier. Here it comes, sort of war dinosaurs. It could have worked if they had taken it a bit more silly, just taken it more as a. The story takes itself too seriously. So that's what I was trying to get at there. That the story could have worked if they took themselves a little less seriously. The whole weaponized dinosaurs, but they didn't. They took this 100% seriously, so it came out as kind of dumb. And I'm not gonna lie, I like the Indoraptor. Like this thing, yep. I like this. Yeah, I like the Indoraptor better than like the Indominus. I'll be honest. It's better than the Indominus. It's quadrupedal, which is already it's what's it, like facultative biped, where it could be both quadrupedal and bipedal. I think it's far more interesting. Plus, it's not just a better than the T Rex, stupid, overused garbage. Yeah, facultative bipedalism. Okay, at least I got that right. But also just to remind you, man, you say it's 500 kilograms. The Baryonyx weighs between, according to my research, about like 2,000 to 2,500 kilograms. So that's either 4 to 5 times heavier than a freaking than your Cayman, dude. Imagine trying to fight something 4 times your own weight. That'd be like me trying to take on a guy that's God, I'm like 170. Jeez, man. 140, 600, 700. That's like me trying to fight someone who's 680 pounds. I don't think I'm gonna make it. I'll be honest. Yeah, like the biggest maybe if they got lucky shot in, but still, I don't think they have good odds. I don't. I honestly think the Baryonyx is gonna take it there. But I don't know. It's still an interesting concept, and I wouldn't mind seeing it. It'd be really cool. I'm not saying you don't have a point. I'm just saying I don't have as much faith in the Caymans as you do. For surviving a Baryonyx fight. Plus that reach, man. The crocodile's on the ground. He can only bite the toes. Baryonyx got the arms. He's got the reach. He could slash him on the back, the head, anywhere he wants. The unless in the water, I guess. Then he could attack the head. On land, though, bad. In water, yeah, actually, you do have a point in the water. Yeah, you do have a point. Eh, eh, Let's say you do have a point. In the water, I do think they would have a chance. On land, though, no, I don't think they would win on land. Dinosaurs that mimic human speech. Honestly, the Indoraptor already can. If you pay attention to some of the noises it's making, it's mimicking noises in this movie, like Raptor, and it even mimics like Maisie's like scream. Just kind of interesting, but they don't really use it for much, do they? From maybe from like the water, but like I was saying, like on the ground, I don't think crocodiles can lunge straight up from the ground that high. Maybe I guess I don't know enough about crocodiles, so I'll give you that. Maybe you do have a point that it'd have to be the biggest one possible, well experienced. Get some good lucky shots in. But yeah, I don't know. You're talking about the Indoraptor does mimic noises, and it's just kind of sad that it never used it for anything. Yeah, imagine like a scene where a Troodon starts copying, like just making human, like starts copying human speech. It'd be very, very terrifying. I guess it's not Troodon, is it? It's Stenonychosaurus. Now, as much as I hate that, I still don't like that decision. I still don't agree with it. Well, if you got it from an actual crocodile scientist, then maybe he would know a lot more than I would. I love the animatronic in this scene. It's so cool. Even if the scene is, in the end, kind of dumb. Because the T-Rex wakes up. It wakes up and starts breaking out, and then it just stops. Like it's off screen, so it's deloaded, so it no longer tries to break out. Which is just... There you go. T-Rex wakes up and... Honestly, they should have done more with the T-Rex escaping inside the ship. Like they just boom breaks the chain on its own foot. Its toes scrape against the metal, and it's already deforming the edge of its cage. But then after this, it just doesn't try anymore. I guess why? I don't know. Look at that. The metal is already deforming. This thing could probably no, not probably. This T-Rex could easily escape the cage it's in. But okay, well, it's now off camera, so it deloaded. We'll be fine. Yeah, but I'm gonna be honest. There's some animatronic work in Dominion that is questionable. Mainly the Giganotosaurus inside of the like that observation tower. It didn't really work for me in that scene, but everywhere else was good. Just that one scene, because it was like we go from this really fast-moving Giganotosaurus to one that's head sitting perfectly still, so that Owen can stab it with a knife. It was really awkward. That scene worked really well. They really planned that scene out well around the animatronic, and all the animatronics in this movie, like just fantastic. And most of the animatronics in Dominion, most we gotta put that there because that one scene with the Giganotosaurus and that thing looked super awkward. It just kind of sat there and took a knife to the face and didn't really react. It was really, really awkward. And it felt like the Giga could have just slightly turned his head and chomped on Owen. I like how there's no scientists in this lab to like keep an eye on things. I guess they're that confident in themselves that they don't feel like they need to have any level of security. Also, why was this video of Owen with his raptors even open on this Apple computer? Like, who left that open and why? Why were they looking at it? Oh, I forgot. It's because we as the audience need to understand this. If we didn't, the plot wouldn't make as much sense. So, of course, that's why he was watching it. Ooh. Yeah. Really does. That's one of the biggest problems with Dominion is the quality of the effects swings so wildly around. There's no consistency. Some of the animatronics fantastic. Some of the animatronics not so much. Some of the CGI, some of the worst I've seen in the entire Jurassic franchise. Some of the CGI, some of the best. Dominion really did not get anything correct. It just swung wildly around like a flail. Kind of like the movie. Dinosaur scenes, especially like there was Dinosaur, is just top tier Jurassic Park scene, and then everything with the locusts is at the bottom. That was a movie of extremes. It really is. It is an absolutely inconsistent disaster. Dominion is a mess. This movie does a good job being more consistent. That's another thing that this movie has over Dominion. There's not really anything that extremely bad compared to, something like Dominion where it just goes from extremely boring and bad to really fantastic. This movie just it does a better job keeping things consistent. The story is consistently stupid, and the action scenes are consistently cool, and the CGI is consistently amazing. Besides one scene. There's only one scene in this entire movie where the CGI doesn't look good, and it's going to come up later on. And here he is, Doctor Wu, being this, the evil person he was supposed to be in Dominion, the sort of like mad scientist that just disappeared in Dominion for no reason. I'm surprised Maisie climbed down those metal stairs so quietly. Anytime I've ever climbed those stairs, they are loud as heck. It's like always creaking so much. I actually really like to see this hand creeping out of the cage. But I find it kind of funny. He locks that door, but then he leaves the key in it. Like, why? Whenever I lock a door, I take my key with me. Why did he leave it in there? Ah, yes. It's just so that she could try to escape later, right? Because think I remember, like, just a little key under the door thing, the paper. We'll see it later if I'm not wrong. I mean, yeah, even if she is 8 years old, like, it's still, like, those things creak under any pressure. They creak on their own when there's no one walking on them, so. Yeah, there still would have been noise. Yeah. I'm gonna say, like, those things creak on their own. They don't need anyone to step on them. But when you do step on them, they are loud. So funny. Stealth mission, engage! Franklin's like me if I was in the situation, because I do the whole clueless, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm a new guy, act very well. So I can really see myself in his shoes in these situations. He's like, I guess I guess I am deck crew, yeah. What do I do? Look, guys, I'm new here. I don't know what I'm doing. So I don't know. I really like Franklin. I think he's funny and very relatable. Hmm. And that guy right there has some really good eyes. Like, he spotted them. He's looking in every cabin, checking every person who passes. Give the villain credit for once. They did their job properly. Now this scene is just straight dumb. They expect me to believe that not only did that cage manage to hold the T-Rex, but when they let it out into this small cage, it just keeps it contained. How? Also, what kind of elevators are they using? That's a 10-ton dinosaur. They're lifting down that elevator with ropes and pulleys. I'm not doubting you can make an elevator that strong, but did they really plan to lift tyrannosaurs into these things? And did they really have an elevator into every single one of these cages? Man, there's a lot of questions I have. They built some... This house is built very strange. Maybe they built the elevators. Maybe Eli built them. A question to be asked but never answered. And then the brick containment facility that would not hold that T-Rex at all. That we never see the T-Rex after that scene, so my headcanon is quite simple. The T-Rex breaks out immediately after it's put in that cage and disappears, and nobody wants to be the one to admit they lost the T-Rex, so they're just kind of shrug their shoulders and be like, we won't mention it. Elevators can be surprisingly strong. Yeah, I know that, but like this one particular is far from that requirement. Probably, yeah, because it's like it's the rope and pulley system, right? But a T-Rex is 10 tons. Like I just, I don't know. Like I maybe I would believe that Eli built the elevators and like remodeled the downstairs for the cages to hold the dinosaurs or whatever. But I don't know, man. It just seems a little bit odd. Not only would that elevator not be able to lift the T-Rex, that cage would not be able to hold the T-Rex. Like I said, my headcanon, that T-Rex left that cage immediately after it was put down there. Very easily. A Stiggy Moloch breaks out of it later. I don't even think I need to explain the weight difference between a Stiggy Moloch and a Tyrannosaur. Honestly, I'm surprised they didn't just shoot them there. Like, what's the difference in shooting them there and letting them die in here? You can clean it up. You clean up both pretty easily. They're both still isolated locations. Oh, I forgot. Sorry, it's PG-13. The villains have to act villainous, but they can't do anything too evil because, you know, might change the rating. Yep, T-Rex would absolutely bulldoze the cages. There's no doubt about that. If a sticky Moloch can break down those walls, a T-Rex would have no problem. Also, there's apparently an Apatosaur down here somewhere. An Apatosaurus? How much do those weigh? Yeah, look at that guy trying to. Oh, we're just like each other. Yeah, roughly 40 tons. There was an Apatosaurus somewhere in these cages. A 40-ton animal is being held in by brick walls somewhere in this basement. Yeah, right. Yeah, shut up, Mr. Villain Man. Who cares? Eli is such a dumb villain. He's better than Donson, but still. You talk about T-Rex bull. You talk about a T-Rex bulldozing those cases. The Apatosaurus wouldn't even need to do anything. It could just walk forward and it would just crumple like a Lego set. You just hear the sound of a Lego, like the Lego games when something falls apart. They look over and the Apatosaurus are just walking away. Maybe we should have built something better than brick walls to hold the 40-ton sauropod in. Or the 10-ton carnivore. Maybe. Triceratops are like 10 tons too, ain't they? Or something like that. And Ankylosaurus, they're like 8 tons. They got the club tails. There are a large number of animals in this basement that would not be held in by the walls. Just, yeah, they are. That downstairs is getting bulldozed in all reality. There's going to be a T-Rex, the Apatosaurs, Ankylosaurus, Triceratops. Everything's going to be loose down there. It's going to be absolute chaos. But of course, it's movies, so they're off screen. They've deloaded. This is one of the parts I actually kind of like, is that this whole auction thing. Like, I think this works well, and it could have been done a lot better, though. Especially the prices. Try to sell these dinosaurs for. Easily, each in would sell for over 10 million. Yeah, so she didn't. Oh, that's right. We just talked about the scene. She just put the key under the door and saw the guard was there or whatever. But why did he leave the key in the door? Who locks a door and leaves the key in it? That's so dumb. It wasn't even necessary because she tries to climb out the window anyway. So even if he didn't take the key, even if he took the key, she just wouldn't be able to open the door and would have climbed out the window anyway. So this is just a dumb scene. Yeah. Honestly, that's one of those things where I would have rewritten the story, is that instead of really anything that happens to the dinosaurs escaping this, instead they all break out on their own during the auction and like chaos erupts below the auction underground with the dinosaurs escaping on their own. Because in this movie, all the dinosaurs escape because of human help rather than, life finds a way, Theme of this franchise gets ignored so that humans can save the dinosaurs. I'm big, yeah, he got assassinated by the dude. Honestly, that scene passed by so quickly I forgot it even happened. Like, whatever, he snuffs out an old man's lights. I like how loud the little dolly, like the laundry chute door closing was, but somehow Eli didn't hear it. It was louder than the door he was opening. But he just didn't hear it because, whatever, On the button scene. Yeah, that's the big change. Like, if I think I mentioned before, there's a lot I would change with this movie if I was to make it myself. Here we go. Here comes the scene that doesn't exist. Close your eyes, close your ears, everybody. The scene doesn't exist. Don't pay attention. Dominion says it doesn't exist. Stop. Don't look. Nope, it's not allowed. Dominion says it didn't happen. We're gonna get another scene like this later, but just cover your ears, go la 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 la, not listening because Dominion says it didn't happen. anything relating to that. Look at that. He did hear the door close, but he hears the thing going. But yeah, we'll get to the button scene in a bit. But it's one of those things that I would absolutely change because this movie, its biggest mistake was ignoring life finds a way, like the main message of the franchise, that the dinosaurs do not need our help, that they will escape on their own, that they will survive on their own. Nope, in this movie they need humans to help them escape, even though look, we see a triceratops right there. Triceratops are like 10 tons. They're the same weight as a goddamn T-Rex, ain't they? Yes, that is correct. They're actually heavier. They're not 10 tons, they're like 12 tons. How is that thing contained? That's a 12-ton animal right there, just chilling. It could tear down those walls and rip that door off with ease. Just this movie ignoring what would actually happen. Because here it comes. Oh, they're gonna break out with a Stygimoloch. But the 12-ton Triceratops, 10-ton Tyrannosaurus, 40-ton Apatosaurus, all of them stuck in their cages. Yep, you're absolutely right. Would not have contained most of these animals. Absolutely. It's probably the most infuriating part of this entire film, I'll be honest. Right up there with the button. Look at this. This little Stygimoloch is going to break them out somehow. How much do Stygimolochs weigh? £200. We're witnessing a 200-pound animal escape from an enclosure that multi-ton dinosaurs are not going to escape. It's so dumb. And here comes the auction scene. And I don't, like, other than the prices, this scene works really well. It's something that I'd probably keep if I rewrote this movie. I would keep this scene in. Look at this. This thing should be selling for over 10 million, like, easily. Look, now it's reaching 10 million. That should be like the starting bid. But no, it's the that's where they reach. I like Prehistoric Planet. It was fantastic. I thought I was gonna do some content, but I just ended up watching it myself. And while I'm getting excited, I am excited for season 2, you know? Yeah, that's why I'm distracted, because it really still is bothering me that we're watching a 200-pound animal escape an exhibit that Tyrannosaurs and Apatosaurs and everyone can't escape. Yeah, I like the idea. It definitely, like I said, I would definitely keep it and change it a little bit, but I would keep most of that auction scene in. It honestly works really well. It's one of those, like, good villain scenes in these movies, you know? Makes a lot of sense. If you came to an auction and said, hey, I'm selling a T-Rex, you're gonna get people to show up. Here we go. Hello, little 200-pound dinosaur. How did you escape when the T-Rex is still sitting in his cage? You have the physical strength to pull this off, but a T-Rex can't? Nah. Whatever. You know, I'm gonna keep complaining about it because it really does bother me. It's one of the biggest problems with this movie. It really is. Most people wouldn't think about it because they're thinking about something dumb like, oh, the volcano doesn't make any sense, even though it absolutely does. But, you know, it is what it is. I also love this part. She went through all that trouble to get down this elevator, and there's just the laundry chute goes down here. Why does the laundry chute go to the secret basement? And wasn't it the same hallway that Indoraptor was down? Could have sworn that was the same hallway that the Indoraptor was located inside of. Oh wait, no, that was by the elevator side. Never mind. Actually, no. Yeah. You know what? I'll give you a point there. I thought it was, but I thought about it. They were staying next to the elevator in that scene, so no, it's the other side of the thing. Okay. Ooh, Abelisaurs. I haven't heard about that, but I love Abelisaurs. I love those boys. Yeah, that gets me more excited. Heck, I want to see some more Abelisaurs. I actually haven't seen much about season 2. I heard it was announced, and I kind of just went, all right, I'll watch it when it comes out, and I haven't even really seen any like the material on it because I just don't really feel like it's necessary. I'm gonna see it eventually, you know. I'd rather not spoil my ass. I'd rather not have it spoiled too much. Have some fun with it. Although I do appreciate you telling me there's Abelisaurs because I didn't know that. That's really cool. It's not really a deliberate attempt to avoid spoilers. It's more just like I'm gonna see it eventually. I don't really need to. It's confusing, I know. But you know, I know I'm gonna see it. I don't need to check out the trailers. Oh, speaking of trailers, anyone see that they made a trailer for there's a freaking the Meg 2? A T-Rex being attacked by a megalodon. Like a 64 million year time gap between those two creatures movie. Yeah, no, laundry shoot's just plot convenience. Yeah, because just why is there a laundry chute leading to the basement of the secret experiments? What laundry are they doing down here? It's so dumb. And if she could do that the whole time, why did she take the elevator in the first place? Why did she have to enter the code if she could just go down the laundry chute? Tell me she's never gone down that? She's clearly ridden in that thing before. She's never went to the bottom ever. Honestly, I remember when they talked about the Indoraptor, they thought they're going to have a brother and sister. We saw the two designs. Honestly, if I changed this movie, I would have added them both back in. Would have been really cool to see two of them on the run. Imagine two nearly human-level intelligence dinosaurs working together to hunt down people. That would make these mansion scenes so much cooler. And I love the design of the Indoraptor. The sounds are really cool. Its usage is way better than the Indominus. It's not just a better than the T-Rex creature. It's just cool on its own. That's what I want to see more of. We don't need better than the T-Rex. Give me things like this, you know? Oh yeah, funny enough you should mention that. That's exactly how mine would have ended too. Both Indoraptors would have escaped into the woods at the end of my version of Fallen Kingdom. I actually want to talk about that in the movie, because I have a lot of ideas for how I would have changed Fallen Kingdom. Be a little fun discussion at the end. And I love this shot. That transition between CGI and animatronic, I've never been able to tell when the transition happens. It's so good. Because somewhere in that scene when they're zooming in on the cage, it changes from CGI to animatronic, and as much as I've tried, I have never been able to tell when it happens. It's too good. Here's one of the problems with the movie. This stupid laser thing. I should point out, like, it's more convenient to just shoot the person if you have that, you know? And I get they try to do whatever. Oh, look, attach it to a wrist thing in Dominion, but there's better things. That's like a beta test of this function. The smart move is to make it hunt the sound itself, and then maybe put it in like a small, tiny, microscopic little device, like the size of a BB, maybe. You could maybe just flick it onto someone's clothes, like place it on them where they can't see it, activate it, sound goes off, they hunt down the source of the sound and kill them. That way you could take out guys you can't get a gun to, or a laser pointer, you know? Yeah, definitely. That would have been a Dominion plotline. A Baza. Both Indoraptors are in the movie. They escape into the woods, and Dominion deals with the fact that these creatures are now breeding in the wild. That would have been a way better plot for the Indoraptors. But no, we couldn't have that. I think dinosaurs being trained to attack sounds actually could be used in the films, but the way they did it here is not gonna just no. The laser pointer doesn't work. This part is actually pretty funny though. I like this bit. The sticky Moloch in the elevator. Hey. I like how the movie just ignores how many people this sticky Moloch kills in this room. Because every time it hits someone, they're dead. Like, this guy, yep, dead. He's not getting back up. None of the people who get smacked by the sticky Moloch are going to be getting back up. Haha, funny, they're getting tossed around. It's so funny. They're all dead. There's like cartoon funniness, but they're all dead. Like, there's no kidding around that none of these guys are getting back up. I actually really like this like panning scene of him fighting all the dudes. It looks really cool. Yeah, they're killed and never mentioned again. A lot of people say this scene is really dumb, but honestly, I think it makes perfect sense. This guy finds a dinosaur. He's got his weird tooth collection thing going on. Get mad at that as much as you want. That's fine. But this guy tranking a dinosaur like he has every other dinosaur on the island and going to collect its tooth like he has been established to do. Like, what reason does he have to think that this is any different than any other dinosaur? There's really no reason for him to think that this is some sort of special genetically modified creature. He has no reason to believe that. So him going in like this, you know, we as the audience might understand it, but that's kind of the whole point of dramatic irony. He doesn't know. As far as he's concerned, this is a dinosaur that he missed during pack up, and he wants to collect the tooth for it. As he said, I didn't see you on the island. Like, he didn't see it over there. So, yeah. And I honestly don't have a problem with the little funny tail raise smile thing he has going on here. People are like, oh, that's so goofy, but I don't know. I think it's just I don't know. I think I see it more as the sinister the sinister thing it's supposed to be. He's smiling because he's about to murder someone, especially when you know the deleted scene content that they didn't include in the movie, which they should have. Plus, this is honestly just a really cool scene because it's a scene of actual gore and violence that we don't get in Dominion at all. It's horrifying in all the ways a dinosaur attack should be. And a very human reaction. Yeah, any other person would probably be crying too. Yeah, I miss gores, and yeah, gore in Jurassic movies. As messed up as it is to say, you really do need it. Dinosaurs are not peaceful creatures. They are very violent, especially the predators and herbivores. Things are not going to be PG when they're attacking. Yeah, I know. It gave it some intelligence. And if you note a deleted scene where it learns to smile like that because its captors do that, when it's like, when, they're tranquilizing it, when they're hurting it, they're smiling so it takes up the same habit. It's genuinely creepy. It's a shame they didn't put it in the movie. This part, I will admit, is kind of dumb. The part where it just flicks the button with its toe. They should have made it more deliberate rather than an accident. The creature is smart. It should have been able to figure it out on its own instead of it being, oh, look, it accidentally hit the button. You could have still had it just smash the button because it doesn't know the combination and it would have had the door open anyways, but instead of it being an accident, it could have been deliberate. Oh, here we go. Hey, close your ears, close your eyes. The scene doesn't exist. Dominion says it doesn't exist. Close your eyes, close your ears, don't pay attention. Yep, here it comes. Sorry. Your speech is worthless. It didn't happen. Dominion says it didn't happen. Yep, you're absolutely right. A Baza. There we go. You can start paying attention again. Now the scenes that actually happened, according to Dominion, are happening. Eli's speech. Honestly, I'm surprised they haven't just edited it out. I'm surprised they haven't just edited that whole scene out at this point. Indoraptor used the elevator. That'd be pretty funny, actually. I didn't think about that. Maybe he did. He did get down to a lower floor. Maybe he did use the elevator. There he is. Franklin's somehow now a lab hand. That's so funny. I love that. I love that. He's clueless. I don't know what I'm doing. It's so good. Listen to how smug and pretentious he is. Where'd that go in Dominion? Yeah! And here comes the scene with, the questionable CGI. Just this one shot here coming up. When they open the cage for the first time. It's just the scene when they open the cage door, it looks kind of not good. But considering that it's the one and only bad shot in this movie, I'll excuse it. Here it comes. Look at the close-up of Blue here. Yeah, that doesn't look the best. And now we're back to good stuff. There you go. CGI's fixed. That's it. That was the only bad shot in this entire movie. Yeah, you're right. The room does look similar because of the lighting in Dominion, but I don't think it's the same room. There's Blue doing the cool guys run away from explosions thing. You've seen all the other action movies, but this time it's a raptor. Yeah, we're getting to the part with the movies. This part down here. Just all the stuff that's happening down here from now on is kind of dumb. Not kind of dumb, actually, it's just really dumb. But these scenes, oh, we're getting to the good stuff here. The horror scenes. with the Indoraptor loose in the house. So good. Also, because there's no way the Indoraptor could have fit behind that thing, I think that this scene is trying to imply that it was using camouflage in that one spot right there. I don't know, because this movie does a good job of not telling you what the creature does, it shows you instead. It does a good job of like just showing you what it does. So I think like there's no way it was fitting behind that thing without camouflage. So I'm pretty sure that's what that scene was trying to imply there. Doesn't really use it ever again, but still, it's cool. Kind of like the voice mimicry that only shows up in a couple scenes. Not voice, I guess sound mimicry would be more correct. They did a great job with those Indoraptor scenes. They are really cool. Like from in the mansion, Indoraptor in the mansion scenes are all just totally awesome. It's what I want to see more of in these movies. One dinosaur slowly stalking around a room trying to find people as they desperately use everything available to them to hide and escape. That's what I feel like this franchise needs more of. Small, isolated, more horror, suspense scenes. Less explosions and people running across rooftops. I'm not saying that isn't cool, but you know, you need a good balance. Hey, are those Mononicus? I think those are, right? Another wasted opportunity. There are no Mononicus in any of the other movies. Kind of like the Concavinator. Just kind of there. Never shows up again. It's cool that you included it, guys. Can we see it in a movie? You can hear it like clacking its claws somewhere in the darkness. That's so cool. There you go. You have to go if you want. I mean, I can try to answer as best I can. Just, you know, I'll do what I can. So cool. Just love. I love these suspense scenes, man. If you have to go, just ask the question. I'll do my best to answer it if I can. You know. You ever wonder what they did with the models they put in this mansion scene? Wonder who got them. They can't have just destroyed them, right? Are they like up in like the? Okay. Honestly, I'm not that too attached to Dinosaurs. I'll be honest. Like, I just don't think there's a lot you could do with them. Maybe in like some smaller scenes, but I mean, I'll just say it. I've always been more of a dinosaur person. You know, out of all the prehistoric animals I've interested in, dinosaurs are definitely at the top. So when it comes to other things like Lystrosaurus and whatnot that aren't dinosaurs, like they're cool, they're prehistoric animals, but I'm not gonna put as much into them as I would a dinosaur. You know. Ooh. Maybe. I don't know enough about them to say otherwise. Like I said, I didn't really research them because they're not really dinosaurs. I only really knew about Lystrosaurus. I didn't even know Placerius was one of them, I'll be honest. Like, I knew what Placerius was. I didn't even know it was part of the group. And there we go. Look, you hear the noises the Indoraptor is making right now. They're not the same sounds it always makes. It's sort of mimicking her scream. It's making weird noises. It sounds a bit like her scream, which is neat. It's not exactly, but it's still really cool. Also, there's no way that Indoraptor wouldn't have bashed its skull straight through that door. That little wooden thing would not hold back that thing. We're getting close to the end of the movie here. Getting close to the big scene that makes everyone, including me, very upset. No, look, they're doing a kiss. Relationship. Yawn. There's a dinosaur loose in the house. Move on. Well, that's awesome. Yeah, man, go right ahead. Like I said, I'm more of a dinosaur person. The only... I would say the only synapses I cared about were Gorgonops, like Gorgonopsids, but I don't even know if they count. Are they synapsids? I think so? Like I said, I don't even know much about them. I mean, I know Inostransevia and whatnot, but that's just because I really like the way they look. That's really it. Oh, the scene. Man, the music, the cinematography, the visual effects, that scene is so good. I love that scene so much. Yeah, I know, right? Main character's actually taking damage. It's nice, isn't it? Actual consequences and danger. That's what we need more of. Yeah, Gorgonopsids are indeed synapses. Good. I at least have that correct. I just knew about them because of Primeval and a few other things. Like oh yeah, what was it? The BBC Before the Dinosaurs. Which one was that? Walking with Monsters? I think so. Either way, like that just made me love Gorgonopsids. Those two things. They're the only synapses I'm familiar with, specifically because I thought they just look cool. This entire extended sequence is just really good. I love just everything about this. The slow suspense, the sounds, the CGI, cinematography. Just to think that's the horse, and then it's the Indoraptor. There is nothing I hate about this scene, like at all. This scene's just totally cool, and I wanted more of it in Dominion. We didn't get it. Slow, creeping dread. And then this scene right here, he fires the bullets and they fall right out. I want more of that too. There's just so much I love about this scene, man. I want more people to do that scene right there, where somebody fires bullets at a dinosaur and the bullets fall right out because they just fired into a giant creature with a thick, scaly hide. Oh yeah, Fallen Kingdom is so underrated. I'm talking mostly about how much I love this movie, I'll be honest. Like, out of all the Jurassic World movies, this is still my favorite. Woohoo! Raptor battle! Look at that! Small carnivores battling? What is this? A movie that likes to actually do something interesting? There's no doubt about that. Dominion, but it's not hard to be. It's not hard to be better than Dominion. That's not much of a challenge. Even Jurassic Park 3 can manage that. Yeah, man, I really do. I think it's great. Yep. See ya, Abaza. One day, yeah. What's up? Oh. Getting near the end here. We're closing. We're getting near the end. The Indoraptor battle going on. I'm genuinely surprised that Blue managed to throw that Indoraptor out the window. That is... I don't know how Blue did that, really. I think it makes sense only because they're in such a small room. The Indoraptor is really a disadvantage. The room isn't much bigger than it. Blue has a lot easier time maneuvering a small space. Maybe Blue shouldn't be able to take that much damage, but still. And there's this scene. I just love that. He breaks the glass, and he looks at it, looks at his own hand. Like, it's just... the little scene of intelligence. I like it. Upper body strength on Chris Pratt there. What Oreo stop motion? Yeah. Ooh. There are reasons to hate it. Like, I can see why, especially when it comes to the ending here, but we'll talk about that after this cool Indoraptor thing. I will question this decision with the laser, but honestly, there weren't a lot of other options, so it makes sense. And this part's just, like, genuinely terrifying. If I saw this, if I were to ever witness a dinosaur doing a pull-up, it's over for the human race. They're lucky this thing gets killed off in this movie. And there it is, look, now it's mimicking raptor sounds. It does do sound mimicry. And Blue coming in from the top rope. Woo! And there we go. Indoraptor is gone. Lost World, absolutely. Lost World is a top-tier movie. Lost World is super underrated. Alright, then. Let's get on to the end of this movie, which is the part we can complain the most about. It's just, there was such a better way to do this. No? And the gas is coming into the dinosaurs that should have already easily escaped, as was discussed before. A T-Rex is 10 tons, Triceratops is 12 tons, Apatosaurus is 40 tons. They would easily be able to break out of these cages. Yep, see ya. Getting close to the end anyways. Yeah, they wouldn't have... see, this is the problem. They didn't need... it's not life finding a way. It's humans letting them find... it's humans letting them escape, but they should have been able to escape on their own. That's what the problem is. Life isn't finding a way. Humans are letting them out. That's not life finds a way. If they wanted to truly fit the message, they would have broken out on their own. And that's what it should have been. Yeah, no, in my version, they would have just broken the doors down by themselves. Look, there it is! An Apatosaurus. A 40-ton dinosaur was somehow being contained back there. Bull crap. And here it comes. This door is the dumbest thing ever. If they were breaking out of their cages, they should have done that. And then more importantly, this whole scene should have played out. Up to the point where she decides not to let them out. And then, well, let's just let it play out for a little bit. In my version of this film, this exact scene plays out. After they break out of their own cages, they're locked behind the door, and Claire thinks to push the button, but decides, like she does here, not to press it. Because she can't risk that many lives over some animals. She closes the button, just like she does here. Boop. They wait for them to die, and then in my version, the dinosaurs start breaking down the door themselves. Life finds a way. It crashes through barriers, literally bringing to life the statements that Malcolm says. They break down the barrier, they break down the door, they escape on their own, all without any human help, because that's what it's supposed to be about. Humans do not let the dinosaurs live. The dinosaurs escape and survive on their own. It's not a human presses the button. That's just dumb. It really is. And it irritates me to no end. This part does irritate me as much as it irritates everyone else. The reasons behind it are different, because they're like, oh, why did she press the button? She's so stupid. It's not that. It's that they didn't follow through with the theme of Jurassic Park. You have a 40-ton herbivore standing right next to that door. It could easily knock it down. Honestly, I feel like Eli should have died by the Indoraptor too. That would have been a change I would have made in my version of the movie. He made the Indoraptor. He should have gotten killed off by it. Yep. I don't know if it's any worse. It's just equally dumb. The retcon is just dumb in general. Yeah. There's the Carnotaurus again. Nah, I would have done the Indoraptor. He wouldn't have even made it this far. Eli wouldn't have survived this long in my version of the film. I want to talk about that after this is over. We're getting close to the ending, so yeah. We'll talk about it after it's over here in a bit. We gotta do the final bit, though, where Blue's like, no, I'm not going to come with you, and then in Dominion she decides to move in next to him anyways, despite having the entire United States open to her. Actually, the entire Americas, North and South, open to her. She decides to settle next to Owen in a frozen, snow-covered area. Because that makes sense. I know, right? They never explain what happened to the Indoraptor's body in Dominion. It's on the Triceratops horns, and they just pretend it doesn't exist. Lecker looks at the cage, like, how would you even have transported that to begin with? It's not on the back of a truck. We can do lift it on there? This scene would have meant a lot more if Blue didn't immediately run back to Owen in Dominion and lived right next to him. Story would have been a lot better if she disappeared and went off on her own and they had to go find her in Dominion, honestly. Everything about Blue in Dominion was dumb. And this ending that had so much promise. All these dinosaurs getting spread all over the globe, and then Jurassic Dominion did nothing with it. It's kind of cool they have the Dreadnoughtus DNA. That's the one thing they followed through with. The Dreadnoughtus DNA being in that briefcase. That's it. Jane. It's such a cool scene if you ignore Dominion didn't use anything from this to make its movie interesting, pretty much. Humans and may not be forced to coexist. Yeah, but don't worry, Dominion will wrap it up like a kid's cartoon. Everything will just be happy and sunshine. And I love that line. Dinosaurs here before us, and if we aren't careful, they're going to be here after. He is absolutely correct in the situation. I want to see a better Dominion. I'll be honest. I don't want to see a movie between Fallen and Dominion. I want to see Dominion done right. You know? Welcome to Jurassic World. There we go. There you go. That was Fallen Kingdom. A movie that's not so bad on its own, but gets worse if you've watched Dominion, because a lot of it was scrubbed, erased, and ignored for no reason. Look at that blue overlooking a neighborhood. Never comes up again. Woohoo! If they don't, I will. Don't. Yep, there we go. That's the end of the movie. We're good to stop the clock and talk about it a little bit. Anyone wants to stick around, I guess. But yeah, so you talk about, oh yeah, you're gonna do it yourself. I eventually would like to. I think I mentioned I did a little test of stop motion a while ago, and I'd like to get into it myself when I have more money and make my own Jurassic Park movies, because they clearly aren't doing a good job. On topic of that, how would I have changed Fallen Kingdom? There's a lot, I'll be honest. There is a lot that I would change, although most of it would be the second half. Like I mentioned, I would say we bring in the second Indoraptor. Make them a pair of killers in the mansion that are hunting everyone. Have them working together, very clearly communicating, and even showing human-level intelligence. Like, as really I think would, help sell them better, is just showing them how intelligent they are. I think one of the most important scenes I would include, though, is them finding that room full of fossils and them becoming just as fascinated by the fossils as a human would be with dinosaurs. I think that would be interesting to show not just the murderous side, but even the more curious side of these creatures. When they run into a room full of bones of these creatures they've never seen before, and there's nobody around, they stop to examine them, and we get a little scene like that inside of it, and that would be very, very interesting. It'd be a little thing, but I think it, helps sell them a little bit more as murderous towards humans, curious towards dinosaurs type of thing. And like I said, I would also have Eli get eaten by the Indoraptors. And I honestly, if I was to change it, I think I would have Locke would actually be the one who ends up. It doesn't make any sense that Lockwood wouldn't know what's going on in his own basement. I feel like Lockwood would know, and that when he confronts Eli, instead of doing, oh, report yourself to the police, I think he would actually just, lure the Indoraptors to him and escape through, some sort of safe room hidden in a bookshelf or something, and deliberately get Mills killed by his own creations. I think that would have been a much more satisfying ending. Maybe you could still have the Indoraptors break into the safe room and get Benjamin in the end, but I think that would have been a much better, a much more fitting end for Eli to get taken out by, because, Benjamin's a businessman, and you don't really get rich as a businessman without doing some shady things, and Eli's doing shady things, so I think him getting killed by another businessman doing shady things, getting him killed with his own creations, would have been a poetic sense of justice, in a way, I guess. I just think it would have been a much more interesting scene to see the Indoraptors come and take out the guy that was probably directly overseeing their torture throughout their life. I think that would have been much, much better. And then there's the fact that I would have had the Indoraptors escape at the end of the movie. They would have both escaped the mansion after slaughtering all the guards. And we would have gotten some pretty cool scenes between two Indoraptors fighting off like a legion of guards, including a scene I would have really liked to see where one of the Indoraptors would jump from the top of a tree, climb up a tree and jump up to grab onto the landing gear of a helicopter and get it, bring it down. Might have been a bit of a over the top action situation, but I still think it would have been pretty cool. I mean, like I said, it's just, I don't know. It's like I have to wonder, how do you balance? Like, do you take yourself seriously because this movie tried to while being incredibly silly, or do you try to be silly and have fun? That's really gonna be the bigger one. Like, you can still have a dark tone and still have a bit of fun, but there's so many problems with this movie. And again, the ending as well. Dinosaurs escape their own cages with no human help. Dinosaurs break down the door with no human help. That's a big change I would make too. Voice crack there, sorry. There really is a lot that could be fixed with this movie, and it's not bad. I'm just gonna say that I don't think it's a bad movie. A lot of people think it is, but it's better than Jurassic World. I'm just gonna say it. Any problem you can find with the writing of Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom is in the original Jurassic World, and that's just a fact. If you don't want to acknowledge that, that's up to you, but that's just how it is. And honestly, Fallen Kingdom could have been way better, and they could have used the ending way better, but they didn't. And there's so much missed opportunity. At the end of the day, Fallen Kingdom is a bit of a mess. It's not anywhere close to Dominion's level of mess. It's still enjoyable. It's fun. It's got a lot of dinosaur action, but there's a lot that could be fixed. But I have fun with it. I enjoy Fallen Kingdom. I think I always will. And from that, I think it's time to close it off. Thanks to everyone who stuck around for, at least till the end. Stuck on for most of it at the very least. I should close up shop and perhaps get ready to go out and do some stuff. Because I want to go out to play some arcade games on my birthday. Head down to the local arcade, play Jurassic Park, the arcade game again. My usual birthday tradition. So, yeah. See y'all later, I guess.